Hi guys, welcome back to Forgetful Scholar, and this week, no books. So my bad. I didn't finish reading this week. I guess I could have, but I didn't want to rush the book I'm currently reading now because I'm having a great time with it and I didn't want to rush it and then ended up not really sinking my teeth into it. So I decided to do a book tag instead to be fair, it's just my free time I usually set aside for reading. I kind of got caught up in that new game, Blue Prince, like Prince as in son of the king. I don't know what it is about it, but it has me in a chokehold. I'm probably today too, when I finish doing this and doing some real life work I have to do, I'm probably gonna play it. Anyway, so I'm going to do the rapid fire book tag. Original creator, The Unabashed Reader, and I saw it from Ashley Reading. Yes, I wrote down the questions, but I didn't really think about the answers because my phone can't hold a charge right now, and so I went all old school, pen and paper. Okay, so first question: ebook or physical book? Physical book. As you can see behind me, physical book. If I could get the physical book, I want the physical book. E-readers are wonderful for I love my e-reader. There's some books I only buy on e-reader. I love them for travel, things like that. But no, physical book if I can. Okay, paperback or hardback? Paperback. Okay, paperback. I didn't really... Okay, I'm gonna try to answer these as as fast as I can, not really think about it. But yeah, I guess paperback, I think they're just easier to lug around. Paperback, of course, for keeping the book pristine and things like that. And I just who could afford paperbacks right now if there's not a crazy sale going on? You know what I mean? So for me, at least right now, paperback. Would it be awesome to have a full library of hardcover? Sure, but that's just not feasible, that's like a Disney princess library. That's the dream, but come on, online or in-store shopping? In-store shopping. Okay, in-store shopping. I kind of thought I would go online, say the online, because I don't really leave my cave, but I guess there is something to that, wandering around a bookstore, secondhand or not, and smelling the books. And seeing the displays, and maybe you could find an author you never even heard of before. I have recently found a couple of them in a physical bookstore that I never heard, and I enjoyed their stuff a lot. So, okay. Where am I? 4. Trilogies or series? Series. Okay, series. I guess because when I think of that, I think of the Dresden Files or Dungeon Crawler Carl, where it's an ongoing series and I really am enjoying them and I don't want them to end. Trilogies are great for a story that has an end, where you want your characters to stop being tortured and have a happy ending. Okay, yeah. Heroes or villains? Heroes. I honestly thought I was gonna say villains because I am the definition of sympathy for the devil. I always, because sometimes I find villains a little bit more interesting and complex, but apparently my inner paladin is showing through and I picked heroes. I guess at the end of the day, I like the unrealistic idea that good conquers all, Well, I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself. I don't like it. Okay. Question 6. A book you want everyone to read. Oh, that's complicated because I do give recommendations a lot in my real life, but I kind of tailor it to who I'm talking to. My friends who read fantasy but haven't read Dungeon Crawler Carl, I was like, hey, you guys might like it. The humor, you guys might like it. And they picked it up, and I'm only on book 4 and they're done. They finished, both of them finished book 7, they're done. And I'm like, oh, I gotta catch up. Or if someone comes to me and they want to read historical romance for the first time, I'll be like, okay. And I'll be like, all right, pirate, English, lord, or cowboy. or Alien even. Like, what are you looking for? You know, so it's it's more like I try to tailor my recommendations to what I think they would like. You know, either it's humor or maybe a new genre that I think they might like because we play tabletop games together, and they might like an RPG lit or things like that, you know, or even hear what they've read in the past to kind of tailor it to. So that one, I kind of tailor it to who I'm talking to, or like what I think they might enjoy. Okay, 7. Recommend an underrated book. Anything by Jordan L. Hawk. And I know I've talked about this author a lot on this channel. I love their stuff. So anything from them. It is queer romance, but like with Cthulhu. I find it so much fun. They do, I recently read their horror book. You know, I really adore their reading, and like, I'm saying like so much, I'm trying to stop, but I guess you can't take the girl out of New Jersey. They do found family so well. They do complicated main characters so well. They have other themes in their stories than just romance, and I'm addicted. I love it. 8. The last book you finished. I think that was Back in the Spell by Lana Harper. Yeah, I just finished that one. That was the last one I finished. Okay, book 9. The last book you bought. Okay, so the last book I bought was the rest of the Witches of Thistle Grove series by Lana Harper, because I really enjoyed that book, and that was like the 3rd in the series. So I wanted to read the first 2 and then, you know, whatever comes after. So those are the last ones I bought. Don't tell anybody. I'm not supposed to be buying. I told myself not to buy any books, but like I liked it so much, and then I was like, let me just check half price books, and there, you know, what can I say? I crumbled. No willpower, crumbled. Okay, number 10. The weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. I used, oh man, one time I used the sock that I was currently wearing on my feet, and like I pulled it off and put it in the book to go answer the door, and then when I came back I realized what I did, and I was, because my foot was cold, and I was kind of like, why didn't I just flip the book over on the desk? Or even use like my headphones wire that's connected to the computer? No. Or like a strap piece of paper that I had, or even like a pencil? No, I don't know why, but I took off the sock I was wearing and I put it in the book. I didn't even realize really what I did until I came back and my foot was cold. Sometimes I do things that I don't know why, and I just roll with it, because what are you gonna do? Introspection? Of course not. 11, question number 11, used books, yes or no? Yes, you guys know I love a good thrift books. Cause like, come on, man, buying books is not a cheap hobby, and I am on a budget, so yeah. And sometimes I really like, well, sometimes they're creepy. Sometimes people annotate in these books, right? And sometimes I find like a cute little annotation or underlying sentence that someone really meant something to somebody. And like, I think the anthropologist of me comes out, and I really love that. It's like finding someone else's footprints, you know, and it's, I don't know, I really like it. Sometimes it can be creepy. Like this one romance book I had, every time the word like sex was brought up, it was crossed out like furiously, like, you know, like, you know, the kind of cross out that, you know, someone's like mad or manic or something. So that creeped me out a little bit. But that's one of the reasons I really like used books. Anyway, okay, question 12. Top 3 favorite genres: romance, cozy mystery, romance, cozy mystery, and I guess I would say like the combination of the two. Well, I'm trying to think. Okay, so I'm trying to do this fast, right? So definitely romance, definitely cozy mystery, and the third one, I am really enjoying RPG lit right now because of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I did want to get more into fantasy, so I'm gonna say that romance, cozy mystery, RPG lit. Right now. Those are my top 3. Question 13, borrow or buy. I love, if I could, I would buy all the books I want without question, without drama, without like feeling, without immediate regret, and gaslighting myself, be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. Borrowing books, like I love my local library. I go there all the time. I try to do it, you know, bring, you guys seen my library hauls. I love my library. I think libraries are so freaking important for humans. Borrowing books for like from a person, like a friend, I get really anxious about it. I don't get anxious about a lot, but borrowing a book from a friend, I do, because I'm very klutzy. I tripped one time when I was standing still. I don't know what happened. So like, and I'm not trying to be quirky. This is a hassle. Like, this is a hazard. I've hurt myself standing still. And I'm very klutzy, and you know, if it's my book and I get like a little bit of coffee on it, or I rip a page by accident, like a little corner, no big deal. But if it's someone else's, I feel so guilty. So I try not to, especially friends, because I don't want to be that friend that like borrowed a book, forgot about it, 5 years later, like, oh, here it is, and it's like covered, like destroyed. I don't want to be that person. So I prefer to buy if I could. But libraries are amazing. Amazing. Okay. Question 14. Character or plot? Character. Okay. I thought I was going to say plot, but no. Now thinking about it, especially my top 2 favorite genres, characterization is really important. Like romance, it's all about the characters really, right? And then cozy mystery, you want to be engaged, even though the plot's important. So yeah, because I think, if you guys been here for a while, I think you've noticed that like, if I like the main character, or I don't even have to like them, if I root for the main character, I give a lot of grace to the plot stuff, right? Plot holes, things like that drive me crazy. And more often than not, I see them. So to find enjoyment, I kind of had to ease up on that. Neurotic, I don't even know if it's neurotic. I think we deserve plots without holes, you know? I mean, come on. There are talented authors out there. But if it's amazing plot and I can't stand the POV I'm in, I'm not gonna have a good time. So it's really close. Really close. It's like 1 point in the character column. You know what I mean? It's really close. Okay, so question 15. Long or short books? Short books, I think. They just feel less intimidating. Like, I know I've done long books and it's fine, but there's something about like a book that's a little shorter that you don't, there's not that hesitation to start it. Because I think sometimes with larger books, there is a bit of a hesitation. And I feel like because the book I'm currently reading now is almost 600 pages. So I think when that happens, I'm kind of like, okay, I have to schedule out my time to read really carefully, where I don't have that same pressure on a shorter book. Okay, question 16. Long or short chapters? I don't give a shit. I don't care. There's nothing about me that does care. I couldn't care less. Short chapters, long chapters, mixture of the two, happy medium. I have no opinion on it. You're probably like, oh, but you have to. Nah. I just, who cares? I don't care. If you care, that's fine. You know, I just don't. Question 17. Name the first 3 books you think of. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, because I just watched a video essay on it, and it's one of my all-time favorites. I'm also, I don't know why Hamlet came into my mind, because that's a play by William Shakespeare and not a book, but it did. And now I'm thinking about Warrior Woman from Johanna Lindsey, about alien romance mixed with barbarians. I don't know. I don't know why, and I don't know what is going on in my head. I don't know. You're probably like, well, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, it is, and I don't know why. Okay, those are the things that came in my head. The first one makes sense because I was just watching a documentary about Instagram faces in historical genres. And I have to admit, like, the Instagram face in historical dramas does kind of, I don't say it bugs me. It bugs me more that the costume quality in period pieces has dropped a lot. Especially, you know, we've all seen those pictures of Wuthering Heights. Not gonna get into it. I'm gonna sound like a snob. Probably am a snob. But like, man, what the hell is Margot Robbie? What the hell did they put her in? Nope. For a wedding dress from Timo. No, stop. Okay. Question 18. Books that make you laugh or cry. The last book I could think of that made me laugh is The Murder by Cheesecake, a Golden Girls cozy mystery by Rachel Ekstrom. Courage made me laugh. Crying is hard. I don't cry a lot. There's been a lot of books that made me like a little verklempt, eyes a little watering, but full on crying, that would take me a while to figure out, because I'm not a big crier. And since this is rapid fire, I'm just gonna stick with the one that made me laugh last. Okay. Question number 19. Our world or the fictional world? Okay, so this one's interesting, especially since I feel like our world's on fire. I hate this timeline and I want off, but I would pick the real world just because the fantasy worlds are kind of horrible. Kind of like the books I read, the books I like, you know, the historical romance, fine, but you know, I like my right to vote and indoor plumbing, especially indoor plumbing. The right to vote more. I like them both the best. The ones, you know what, the other books I enjoy where Cthulhu is like an actual thing, no thanks, I'm good. You know, in the cozy mystery, someone dies, you know, and like with my luck, I would probably be the victim, so no thanks. I'll stick to the real world, even though, to be fair, cozy mysteries, you know, that happens in the real world. I'm gonna this is rapid fire. Stop dissecting everything. Okay. Question 20. Audiobooks, yes or no? Yes. Audiobooks are great, especially for long car rides. When I went to the Grand Canyon, there was a car ride. My dog was in the back. He's an anxious little guy. He was not having a good time. I put on the audiobook for the Dresden Files. The narrator, James Marston, Spike from Buffy and Angel, he was there. My dog loves his voice. Calmed down, stared at the radio where he was talking from, you know, got excited when his vocal pacing picked up. So I love audiobooks. I just don't do romance novels for audiobooks because I turn into like, oh my god, I can't, so I can't. But the other genres I read, I have no problem. I blush too much with the romance audiobooks. I can't do it. Okay. Question 20. It's fine in my own head, but I don't want the moaning in my ear. Okay. Question 21. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? Yes, we all do it. I mean, how many rants have I had about romance novels not having romance covers? I mean, the freaking Dream Harbor series is an atrocity, you know. Back in the Spell did not look like a romance cover, you know, but like, you know, that's one of the reasons I first looked at this and picked it up, because obviously I really like the cover. I think it's fun. I think it's cute. We all do it. Humans are visual creatures. We all do it. That's why, you know, the trend of, hopefully we're over the faceless illustration trends of romance novels, because they're bullshit and I hate them. I don't mind that illustration because it clearly shows romance, or even a Deep End, I think, where it's just two hands clutching each other and it's illustrated, obviously romance, you know. I have gone on this rant so much that even talking about it now, I'm starting to get like a pounding headache behind my eyes. Could be that, could be the lack of sleep and the allergies, but I'm gonna pretend it's my furious soul-born anger at the atrocity romance covers have become. I want some clutch covers, thank you. It could be illustrated, I don't care, but some clutch covers. Anyway, Anyway, I'm getting like a little bit of a headache. 22, book to movies or book to TV adaptations. I like the TV adaptations a little bit more. I just feel like they could dive in and sink their teeth into the story the book was trying to tell. And has time to course correct, you know, as we've seen with the Wheel of Time show. I haven't read the Wheel of Time books. I didn't watch the series, but I'm in kind of the bookish sphere, and a lot of people I know love that series, hated that show. Now I think in season 3 they're really loving it. So I think, you know, that's an example of course correction, right? Sometimes it could go the wrong way, like the Witcher series. Can't believe they got rid of Henry Cavill. That was ridiculous. Not only that, but like characterization. Okay. Point is, over movies, I like the TV shows, even though clearly I think the TV shows sometimes aren't that great at the adaptations either. Anyway, question 23. A movie or TV adaptation you prefer more than the books? Okay, I've mentioned this before. Vampire Diaries by L.J. Smith. I prefer the TV show. The characterization of Damon in the book is a little boring. You know, he's an ancient vampire and he's very brooding, very quiet, very menacing. But Ian Somerhalder's take on Damon in the show and the writers in the show make Damon so much more complicated, interesting, and fascinating as a character. Very much the bad guy than anti-hero. I don't know if in my mind he ever goes to like real hero, because he never does good for the sake of good. He kind of does it, you know, for the girl, but still enjoy him much more in the show than in the book. Like, he made that show so much more interesting. Him and the actor Paul Wesley that played Stefan made him more interesting. And I enjoyed the sort of Reaper allegory for addiction. I thought that was really, I wouldn't say really well done, but really compellingly done. You know, also, off the top of my head, Immortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. I liked the Shadowhunter show better. Hot take, I know, let me explain. Because Cassandra Clare, that series is very YA fantasy around the 2000s, so maybe skews a little bit more middle grade a little. Why I don't read a lot of YA is because I understand that the characters are like 16 to 19. They're so immature that they make such stupid decisions that drives me nuts, because immaturity doesn't necessarily mean stupid. You know what I mean? In the show, they were all aged up a little bit. Yeah, because I believe Clary is going off to college, you know, or Simon's going, so they're more like 18, and I think, and who doesn't love Malik, right? And Alec in the show, he's like 23 to mid-20s, and they made, and like, and the actors, I want to say the actors in the show, phenomenal across the board. The actors that play Alec and Magnus, stars. Oh, I love them in the show. And they did a great job of playing these really complicated characters. And Alec with, you know, being closeted and having all this responsibility, because he's a Nephilim, and, you know, he's in a very Christian organization, so being gay, like, pretty not the, you know, not the most comfortable, you know. So his realization of his sexuality, his coming out, I thought in the show was really great. In the book, for me, Alec tends to be a little immature, especially since he has all the same responsibilities, and I get it, he's young. I did not, in the book, I hated how he reacted to how many people Magnus has been with in his 800 years. I did not like that. But in the show, I think it did it a lot more better, gave them more nuance. Also in the show, Clary, Isabel, Jace, and Simon still drove me nuts because they're smart, but they act so stupid sometimes, even in the books and even in the show. I know, but come on. The whole, I forget his name, the elf knight that was going to go to the Silent City and like stealing from, axing Magnus to steal from Alec. Like, the whole thing was so, I was like, do you not have 2 brain cells? Why is Jace, the guy that is just like the fighter, you know, the himbo, really? Why is he making the plans? No. Like, they couldn't bring Alec into it, and they're acting like Alec wouldn't help them. Please, you know, Alec's all for his family, so that was ridiculous. But I will say, also, Malik fans, because it was a long time since I've seen the series, even longer for the books. But come on, the wedding scene with the wedding that wasn't with him and Lydia, I think that was only in the show, and like that. That scene, you know, him finding courage and like telling his really horrible and controlling parents enough, and like the kiss with Magnus, I was like, I love them. So I will say the show, because the actors were all good across the board, made everyone less annoying in the show for me. That scene, and I'm a big Malik fan, so the fact that like such great actors were really sunk their teeth into the material and did such a wonderful job creating such complicated nuances, because I will say one of my favorite literary characters is Magnus Bane, especially in, I think it's Magnus Bane Chronicles. You really get to know who he is, and he's such a complicated person, so I really love the show for that. And I need to stop talking about this. Okay. I guess you know one of my favorite ships. Anyway, not even because they're canon, but still. Okay, question 24. Series or standalones? Depends on the genre. And historical romance series tends to be in like the family, like the sister, one of the sisters, and then the brother, and I really like that. I like kind of how that is, like the family all gets a true love, and I love that. And sometimes you can get a scene or two with the other characters from older books and see how they're doing, and I enjoy that. I'm enjoying Dungeon Crawler Carl, but sometimes you just want a quick standalone. You don't want to have the book that you spent, like maybe it's a 500-page book and you spent your free time all week reading it, and it ends on a stupid cliffhanger for you to buy the next one, and the cliffhanger is shown in there so you did buy the next one. That drives me nuts, especially if it's not done well and it just seems like something put in to drum up interest for the next book. Because if the story is not good enough to stand on its own for me to want to read the next one, like the Diviners, that book drove me nuts. I had such high hopes for it, and the cliffhanger, I was like, obviously put in there for me to want to get, like, need to get the next one. I was like, nah, I don't wanna. How dare you? Was not done well, no thanks. So it definitely depends on the genre. Although like Six of Crows, I couldn't wait to also read Crooked Kingdom, you know, and that was done well. So it depends. I'm sorry, that's my answer. Quick fire answer, it depends. You know, for a quick fire book tag, I really took my damn ass time. Sorry about that. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.